Something is moving beneath the ice. You can't see it. Not yet. But you can feel it as a pressure wave rolling through the water, slow and deliberate, like a storm gathering weight before it breaks the surface. What kind of creature survives freezing oceans, starvation, shark attacks, and still returns to hunt again? It is not the biggest predator in the ocean, not the fastest. The great white shark is more famous. The sperm whale is more massive. Even the humble sea lion can outswim it in tight spaces. And yet every apex predator in the ocean makes way when this animal arrives. The orca, or Sinus orca, killer whale. Up to 6 meters long, 5.5 tons of precision-engineered predator. Those black and white markings aren't decoration, they're camouflage and misdirection, evolved over millions of years to confuse prey at the last possible second. Its brain is 4 times the size of a human's. It remembers faces, holds grudges, and teaches its children to kill in ways that differ from pod to pod, passed down like culture, like language, like tradition. But intelligence alone does not make a legend. What made this orca a legend was what it refused to do when everything told it to stop. The Bering Sea in winter is not a place. It is a test. The water drops to -2 degrees Celsius, cold enough to kill an unprotected human in under 8 minutes. Ice sheets groan and shift overhead, sealing off escape routes. Prey grows scarce. Hunting pods that once numbered 8, 9, 10 animals have splintered. Some haven't been seen in weeks. This orca had already survived things that should have ended it. A violent collision with a container vessel left 3 deep gashes along its left flank, a territorial battle with rival. Males had torn a notch from its dorsal fin so distinctive that scientists could identify it from a kilometer away. At 16 years old, it bore the kind of scarring that tells a story no researcher wants to write in full. Then, in February, it vanished. No acoustic signal. No sighting. The tag had gone dark. Scientists assumed the worst. In this sea, in this cold, with those wounds, the math did not favor survival. 3 weeks passed, then 6, and then on a morning so clear the sea looked like hammered steel, something began moving beneath the ice shelf near the Aleutian chain. Not weakly, not cautiously, hunting. It has been 43 days since the last confirmed feeding. In that time, the orca's body has burned through its blubber reserves, the critical insulation layer that keeps its core temperature stable in Arctic water. A healthy orca carries blubber up to 10 centimeters thick. By the time researchers locate it again, the acoustic data suggests it has burned through nearly a third of that margin. It should be weak, slow, cautious. Instead, it is chasing a stellar sea lion, one of the largest pinnipeds on Earth, averaging 450 kilograms of muscle and aggression, with canine teeth built to fight back. The sea lion sees the dark shape below and bolts. But orcas don't hunt with speed alone. They hunt with geometry. The orca reads the ice, calculates the gaps. It drives the sea lion away from the open water toward a narrowing channel between 2 ice sheets, where there is no room to dive deep, no room to accelerate, no room to maneuver. It is not a chase. It is a corridor, and the orca built it. Then, the sea lion does something desperate. It turns. 450 kilograms of panicked, cornered animal lunges directly at the orca, raking with its foreflipper, twisting, fighting. For a moment, the water erupts. The sea lion connects. A fresh wound opens above the orca's right eye. The orca doesn't retreat. It dives 2, 3 meters, then drives upward like a missile. The strike lifts the sea lion partially out of the water. A single powerful tail strike, measured in captive studies at forces exceeding 19,000 newtons, finishes the hunt. It feeds alone. For the first time in over 6 weeks, it feeds, and then it does something researchers did not expect. It calls. A long, rising sequence of clicks and whistles, the specific dialect of its pod broadcast across 30 kilometers of frozen water. A signal so clear, so insistent, that 2 other animals in the area alter their course and begin moving toward it. The orca did not just survive, it called the others home. Here is what science tells us about why orcas don't quit. The orca brain contains a structure called the paralimbic lobe, a region with no direct equivalent in the human brain. Neuroscientists believe it processes social bonds, emotional memory, and what we might loosely call identity, who they are, who their pod is, what their lives mean relative to each other. An orca that has lost its pod doesn't just feel alone. It feels structurally incomplete, like a hemisphere of the brain going dark. Researchers have documented orcas in this state, exhibiting something that, in any other context, we would call grief. But the flip side of that bond is this. The drive to return to it is equally as powerful. The orca didn't survive 43 days of starvation in a frozen sea because it was physically superior to every threat it faced. The fearlessness of an orca is not recklessness. It is not aggression without architecture. It is the product of 60 million years of evolution building a mind complex enough to understand loss and determined enough to refuse it. No other predator in the ocean does this. No shark, no great whale. No creature hunts and grieves and teaches and then calls its family home across 30 kilometers of freezing dark. Only the orca. So what kind of creature survives freezing seas, starvation, battle wounds, and 6 weeks of silence beneath the ice? Not the biggest, not the fastest, not the one with the sharpest teeth or the thickest hide, the one that remembers why it's fighting. The orca wasn't fearless because it had no concept of danger. It was fearless because the alternative to stop, to give in, to fade quietly beneath the ice was simply not an option its mind could accept. That is not instinct. That is something rarer. That is will. If this story left you breathless, you belong here. Hit subscribe and join us every week as we go deeper into the most extraordinary survival stories on Earth. Drop a comment below. Which fearless animal should we cover next? Next time, it stands 2 meters tall, runs at 50 kilometers an hour, and has a dagger-shaped claw that can disembowel a human in a single kick. The cassowary, the world's most dangerous bird.